a perfect score going into the lead brackets, and we're going already.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna see
And
what Uncle has to say. He's
it looks
got
like
something in his hand
the
there.
sword. It's gonna be the sword. So
Wow,
and the D from Link's house.
that's insanity.
Whoa!
So I don't know if all of you are familiar with this situation. If you're watching in the audience here today, if you see the uncle leave Link's house with the sword, you know he's going to give it to you when you meet up with him. So this is a crazy start for our runners. They're getting both incredibly powerful range weapon in the form of the bow and the fighter sword. So maximum versatility right off the bat. It's going to make for a very exciting and easy escape sequence for both of the players.
Yes, indeed. We got 2 weapons to go for escape with, and we haven't even been to the escape itself yet.
Yeah, we're like one chest into the game, and we already a definite go mode item located, and we get a 5-bomb upgrade here, and a few magic pots. Both of the players choosing to pick those up for later on. Now, it's interesting. They're still going to have to farm for bombs, of course. Wanting to get out of the escape sequence, having checked the back 3 chests there in that one section of the escape, is still a high priority, but hopefully both runners are going to be able to pick up some bombs along the way.
Yeah, bombs are important. It's also important that they can't technically use the bow because they need to also pick up arrows as well. But it's still nice to have at the start.
Yeah, and there's always the possibility of picking up some arrows from the prize pack. Here we see JCopes is going to go ahead and kill all these green knights in the hopes of getting some lucky drops. Unfortunately, nothing picks up for him yet, but it may pay off later.
Alright, first chest and escape is just a burrito.
Yeah, and while that is not exactly exciting, it does mean that all the rest of the chests are live. They can contain something as soon as we find the last key that we need.
Yes, we're going to get a guaranteed key sometime during escape. Whether it be in the sewers or on the way to Zelda.
Yeah, and it, I believe, has to be not in those 3 chests. Well, because you need to find it here before.
Alright, we'll trouble the blue card there. This is a 5-bomb upgrade, the second chest.
Yeah, so that does mean that the next chest is likely to be the key that they'll find. Or there's also the dungeon chest as well, so perhaps not. So both runners choosing to go full sword mode here to take care of this ball and chain knight instead of using one of the pots. Hancin manages to get through with enough interrupts there, picks up a full heart container out of Zelda's chest, and it was the Sanctuary Heart. So almost vanilla.
Yeah, early heart containers are always a plus to have.
Yeah, and I really like getting the 4 or 5 hearts like as soon as possible before you have to start making some decisions as to where you're going to go in the overworld. Of course, at this point, nothing exciting has creeped up on our runners, so I'm seeing in our future a fairly standard post Kakariko village set of checks into the south of Lake Hylia area.
We're just gonna have to wait and see till then. So, important to note, we are already rescuing Zelda. Both of our runners have yet to pick up bombs.
Yeah, absolutely. And neither of them seems in any rush to kill any extra guards. Well, Jay's about to get a nice swing. Still doesn't amount to anything, but yeah, it's got to start weighing heavily on your mind when you're a player, especially in a 4-2 race where everything matters and you just want things to go your way. The longer you go into the escape sequence without getting a bomb, it's just going to be stressful, I imagine.
Yeah, if you don't get those last 3 chests and back escape, it's going to be on your mind until you find the power glove.
Yeah, and there's always just the desire. Ooh, some arrows on Hancin's side, that will give them some access to the bow for early on. Not super required, but nice.
That could be useful in the snake room, but it looks like he's going to be just using the sword. We got a heart and a Magic drop and a red ruby, but no bombs. Oh, there we go.
Bombs for Hancin, still none for Jay. That's a little unbalanced at this point for them. Hopefully you'll get one off one of these snakes.
Yeah, and of course this chest is going to be the guaranteed key.
Both runners now have their bombs, so I'm sure that is a load off.
Alright, rat's not that much of a problem this time around that we got the sword.
Yeah. Just slightly ahead here, switches over to the bombs, and we're going to find out, very carefully laying that bomb to make sure it's in the right position.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes. We got Ice Rod, alright. Big 20, and our first shield.
Yeah, now that
shield.
That Ice Rod is a nice item to find. Just it's one less thing that you might have to hunt down if Turtle Rock is a required dungeon. Of course, that's the only place it's absolutely necessary to kill Trinex. But it does give them an additional magic weapon that they can use if they have to take care of Landmolus, for instance. It's just as good as the Fire Rod, albeit a bit slower.
Yeah, Ice Rod is one of the items that is normally only required for one thing, and that pretty much means it could be pretty much anywhere in the overworld that is not Trinex or Ganon's Tower if TR is a pendant. Or not pendant, crystal.
Crystal, yeah. And another full heart container out of Sanctuary is very nice to give them up to 5 hearts. We get a map check.
We got an all crystal light world, no red ones.
Yeah, and Hancin looks like he's going to make a play to check up the bush crab as well as Lumberjack House and grab a pull on this tree as well. Both runners are making the same play, so we're going to get a little bit of early information as to whether or not this is an Agar-required seed, perhaps.
Bush crab had 5 rubies and a heart out of the tree.
If you don't collect that one, it's not gonna give it to you. All right, so we see here just an arrow capacity upgrade in the Lumberjack Ledge, so no indicator yet for an Agaseed.
Yeah, if you guys want your Agaseed, since we already have the sword, we either need Caper Lamp or another sword and lamp. Which can be possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Is well within the realm of possibility.
What's interesting, if we actually do find that lamp, that would basically mean all of Eastern is completable, because we got that early bow.
Yep. Absolutely. Now, Hancin rejects that one piece of heart there at the mushroom and picks up a big 20 here in the bandits hideaway. Jay is also going to follow suit, at least with the piece of heart there. They don't need it, having collected this many heart containers already. But rupees, of course, are absolutely vital for that check on the bottle vendor.
Yeah, pieces of heart, if depending on how many hearts I have, or that the runners have, if they're just out in the open, maybe you could grab it, but if it's from a chest, it's always nice to find them in chests as well.
Yeah, and keeping in mind as well that neither runner has a bomb upgrade yet, has any more additional bombs, so they're going to have to, if they don't find bombs either here in the well or in Blind's Hut, they're going to have to go ahead and make a purchase down at the shop, and it looks like Jay is going and doing that right away.
He's going to be safe. Meanwhile, Hancin's going to try to do this without bomb. He's going to find piece of heart. There we go. There's some bombs. Nice gamble.
Enough to get started, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And big money. $300. That's enough to get scammed by bottle vendor.
Yeah, and while that was happening, Jay went ahead and just checked the back of Escape, found it, or not the back of Escape, the back of the tavern there, and found 5 arrow capacity upgrade, so nothing useful, and he picked up 10 bombs as well. Hancin gets a few more rupees from the back of Blind's Hut.
Yeah, so this is interesting. Looks like both of our runners are going through Kakariko in 2 different ways. JCope is going from down to up, while Hancin's going from up to down. Oh, we got a bottle! That makes sick kid in logic. More specifically, nice. Bottle that contains some Mountain Dew voltage. Best Mountain Dew.
Very nice find early on.
Oh, and the mirror. Okay. That's gonna be interesting if we can find a way up to Death Mountain.
Yep, 300 more rupees puts Hancin well into the Zora money range. Gets another piece of heart here in the bottom of the well, just to go along with 10 arrow capacity upgrade and 20 more rupees. So lots of rupees. Very good versatile item loadout.
The seed looks like it's being very generous with the rubies. And just a piece of heart from the bottle vendor. Guess not a complete full scan.
Yeah, keep in mind, Hancin is going to have to buy some more bombs, but will easily be able to do that with the 640 rupees he's got right now.
And he's gonna get his bottle. He's gonna be able to check Sick Kid as soon as he's done with Tavern, unless he does Sick Kid first, then Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna buy bombs first, and then we're gonna see what he does.
Now, I like it when the runners get something like the mirror early on because it just opens up a lot of more efficient routing checks that they're going to be able to make as the play progresses. Things like Cave 45 or Graveyard Ledge suddenly become available to them right off the bat. They won't have to go back for it, so that'll be very nice for these runners. I'm sure they'll be pleased for that.
Yeah, and it looks like Sick Kid was just giving up his last bit of love to Hancin.
Yeah, and incidentally, it was enough to acquire another heart container, so they're going to exit out of Kakariko Village with 6 full hearts to go along with their sword, shield, and bow and arrow.
Looks like Hancin does his map check. We're gonna see what's on the library ledge, and we're gonna check the race game as well. And it's just 10 arrows.
10 arrows. Not very exciting. We'll see if either runner decides to go direct through to the maze game. Hancin is, of course, going to go ahead and check from the bottom. And sees that it's just 3 bombs, so save and quit, and will likely be heading to South Shore, and JCopes will be following suit very shortly.
So, now that we have the bow, and we know that Eastern's a crystal, I'm curious to see if these runners are going to actually full clear Eastern Palace, despite the fact that they don't have a lamp.
Yeah, and it looks like Jay is going right there, so that's a divergence, so very good question.
Maybe Jake saw that bow and he's thinking, okay, maybe Eastern has some progression.
Absolutely possible. Hancin's going to take advantage of the fact that they've got the mirror early on, so can use the mirror block disappearing trick there to make this a little bit quicker check in the dam area. Meanwhile, Saharshal's hut's about to give up its 3 treasures.
Oh, there's the power glove.
Ooh, that's a great find.
Oh,
and
and
there's the other glove
is in the other one.
Now that's very interesting because both runners are going to feel like they made a really great in taking this divergent path. Jay's going to come away from that going like, you know what? That's a great item to find, and so he's going to think he's made a really, really great choice. Of course, isn't really going to be all that different because both runners are going to acquire those gloves fairly shortly, I would assume.
Yeah, we're just either a Moon Pearl. Well, we definitely need the Moon Pearl, but yeah, we just need the Moon Pearl. Oh, Hammer's also nice too.
Yeah, we need the Moon Pearl. Oh, there's the flippers, so we're and a sword upgrade. Oh my goodness! Mini Moldarm Cave paying off with the cape as well. Saying, hey, maybe you should go to Aga, but
this is interesting.
I wonder what it's gonna end up being.
Let's see. We might find Lamp first, or we might find Moon Pearl first. This is gonna be interesting because we found that Master Sword, and we also have flippers, so that puts everything that involves going swimming in logic.
Exactly, and
Zora.
It does mean that the double gloves is going to be, you are going to be able to travel from the east into East Dark World, using some swimming instead of having to use, say, Aga as a location without the hammer or Aga portal at the castle. Another full heart container here.
First item. Hancin's gonna go check Ice Rod Cave, just a piece of heart. He's not saving quitting, and I guess he's gonna check those flipper lock locations.
Yeah, I think that's a great play to make at this point. You're just naturally progressing through the seed. Jay's gonna probably do something very similar as soon as he finishes Eastern Palace. Oh, doesn't quite get the fast skip here on the Staphos thing. So we see the hammer
Oh, hammer. All
right
right.
there. So now we're really hoping for that moon pearl someplace nearby in order to safely make your way to the dark world.
Yeah, we're either gonna find a moon pearl first or a lamp first. Or the flute. Okay, well now Death Mountain's in logic.
Wow, this seed is giving up all the goodies really quickly on. We're just a hook shot away from almost complete
Blue mail
utter-
as well. God.
Amazing. There's so many places where things could be, and we're seeing Jay's first action here in the dark rooms of the front part of Eastern Palace.
Okay, Walmart shirt is a good name for blue mail. Of course, I always call blue mail banana hat, but I don't think Hancin's wearing a banana.
So we still have 4 checks here up in Zora's area. As Jay gets the map here from the Vanilla Big Key. 300 rupees in Waterfall of Wishing along with a piece of heart.
Yeah, it looks like JCope is gonna opt to full clear Eastern. He's gonna... This room's a little bit tricky to sequence break without the lamp, but it's possible. It's much easier to do it with Fire Rod. So you can just light the torches on the side.
Yeah. So another piece of heart there on the ledge at Zora, so that's nothing that I think either runner will pick up at any moment. You gotta feel that if you've made it to 4 and 2, you must be fairly comfortable getting through these dark rooms here at Eastern Palace, and Jay has no problem, navigates that one really quickly.
Yeah, that was nicely done. And now we're gonna find out, is this gonna be a life lesson or a progression lesson from Zora? All those earlier rubies in time might mean something, and it didn't.
Yeah, just another piece of heart, nothing really to be
So
excited about.
looks like the progression is somewhere on top of Death Mountain.
Yeah, it absolutely could be. Could be in Tower of Hera even. There's still Agnes Cave as well as a potential place to check out. And with the flute and the lift upgrade, as soon as we find Moon Pearl, the world is going to be their oyster.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot opened up with that Moon Pearl.
Yeah, and Hancin here going straight to Eastern Palace is going to get that second lift upgrade along with the flute right off the bat. Both runners are going to be fairly likely to be at the same kind of position once they meet up after these 2 sets of checks.
Yeah, so JCope got his first crystal at under 17 minutes, or on 17 minutes. And Hancin's the first to pick up his Titan's bit.
Oh, now here's an interesting thing. Jay is going to go to Sanctuary instead. Is going to activate the flute before taking the south shore of Lake Hylia. I like that. On the one hand, it's really nice to be able to have flute access. But you're kind of just rooting for him to head down to South Shore because of the plethora of items that are available to him.
Yeah, good strat. Especially when it's the easiest way to get to Death Mountain as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's technically the logical way until they find the lantern. So, everyone, just pause for a moment to acknowledge that Jay is playing the national anthem. We can't hear it, but we'll get there soon enough.
Alright, the goose is now loose. And we're gonna find out what JCope does with that swag now active.
Yeah, I would assume he's gonna go down to 7 here, take a little shortcut, and pick up his second lift upgrade in just a few moments.
Looks like both runners are doing their retracing their own steps. There's the Titan's Myth for JCope.
Mm-hmm. So while they're doing this, and we're looking at some checks that other runners have already made, so like we already know we're going here. Just to throw out a nice reminder to you guys, everybody who's watching here in the audience, both of these runners, along with everybody who's been participating in the Spring Randomizer tournament so far, they all have their Twitch TV links available to you. If you want to throw them a follow, it'd be really great. I'm sure they'd greatly appreciate the acknowledgement. JCop's now grabbing the flippers, Master Sword, Heart Container, Cape, and Rupees from Mini Moldorm Cave while Hancin grabs his flute, so super exciting.
That was a really hype Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah, that was a great one. You know, and we've had a lot of really high item density locations that have provided, that have paid off really well here. So I wonder if that bodes ill for the actual hype cave when the runners are actually finally able to get there.
Ooh, JCope is eyeing that hammer.
Yeah, that's an interesting spot to be at. As soon as they get Dark World access, you can bet that that's going to be one of the first things both runners goes ahead to hunt for.
What's interesting was that JCope didn't do Hobo nor Ice Rod Cave, even though it didn't have any much of value, as we saw from Hancin's screen. It's pretty interesting to see the leaks.
Well, now that he's seen that the hammer is there on the island, he can route those in when he goes to get the hammer, perhaps. Might be his decision.
Yeah, that could be the case. It could be pretty good routing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has a plan for that for later. Now, we know that that's actually going to be a time save for him, so if he doesn't ever end up getting to them, as they don't really have anything that he wants.
So after JCope receives his bit of love from Zora, we're gonna see what he does next. First he's gonna save and quit, but I'm assuming he's probably gonna flute up to Death Mountain.
Yeah, that's a pretty good bet, I imagine. He doesn't have very many other locations to check yet. Still needing the lantern for the Aga play.
Also,
so...
I just realized we got flute, Titan's Mitten. Yep.
Oh, he's gonna go ahead and head into desert.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, now this also will allow him to give us a nice map check. So we get 5-6 crystals in Ice Palace and Misery Mire, pendants in Skull Woods, Palace of Darkness, and Swamp. So green pendant, of course, up there in Skull Woods. So that was a nice long map check. Thanks very much, Jay. We appreciate it. What makes this really interesting is it's actually possible for him to go ahead and get Checkerboard Cave, which is what he's sort of doing. Oh no, he's gonna head to the back. That murder bird was terrifying him, so doesn't have very many hearts left, so he had to get out of that situation. Those pterodactyls, I think, hit for 4 on the blue mail or green mail.
Yeah, so either desert or possibly Checkerboard Cave could have a progression, as well as Tower of Hera. Oh, the lamp! Alright, well, we got Aga and Logic.
So now that was
I don't think JCope's gonna do that yet.
Yeah, no, I would not imagine so, but that's a very interesting kind of scenario for those chests to be in Logic without Dark World access. Is kind of like it does rely heavily on having both Titans, Mitts, and the flute. So interesting that he made that play right off the bat, and it definitely is going to have paid off.
Alright, on the ledge we got... Oh! Tempered Sword already!
So, third sword upgrade at 23 minutes. And you know, finding that particular sword upgrade, the Tempered Sword, really makes Castle Tower incredibly simple. A lot of the monsters there take 2 or 3 hits with the normal sword, but with Tempered Sword, you're just going to mow right through them in the event that they actually have to go through Aga 1. And they might not. There's still a lot of opportunity.
Alright, looks like we do need the boots to complete Desert Palace, as the big key was on the torch.
Yeah, but still the potential to find both the items here, depending on what's in this particular chest. And nope. So mirroring out of there.
This is going to be a double dip. Desert.
Yep, and I'm wondering if Jay's going to remember should check Agana's cave while he's here. It looks like that is the case because he's not fluting away.
Speaking of fluting, why it looks like Hancin's gonna get his swag duck. Alright, what do we got? And another heart container. Got a lot of hearts this early on, plus blue mail.
Yeah, an interesting choice here to save and quit to get the life back. Could have just fluted up to Death Mountain, but was sitting at 3 hearts, so perhaps that was what made the decision to.
We're gonna see where Hancin goes. Is he gonna go to Death Mountain or is he gonna go to Desert? He's gonna go to Desert first.
Yeah, so this is gonna absolutely pay off, provided, of course, Hancin remembers Checkerboard Cave.
He's not gonna do his map check just yet.
He's gonna grab his Tempered Sword, I imagine. Yep, absolutely. And Jay saves the old man from his dark hidey hole.
Yeah.
And let's see what kind of a tip he gets.
He's gonna get just a tiny bit of love. So, what do you guys think? You think we're gonna find the Moon Pearl somewhere in Tower of Hera? Or is this gonna be confirmed Agaseed?
Yeah,
This
we
is
are
the last
fast.
place we have to check.
We are fast running out of locations.
Or we could also find the hook shot and now put the other side of Death Mountain in logic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hancin's gonna find his lamp. Oh, there it is!
Oh, Moon Pearl up there on the top.
Almost vanilla.
Close as you could get almost without being French vanilla inside Tower of Hera. But say goodbye, Ganon. We won't be seeing you today. And that's almost got to be quite a load off for Jay. Like, oh, gets a mirror bonk here on top of Spectacle Rock. That's never a fun time. But this is going to be a nice like relief for the runners because it means that any delay that you put in, like if you, as soon as you get that potential to go to Castle Tower, you kind of think to yourself, oh, do I have to do this? Do I have to do this? And when it turns out that you were right to avoid it, it feels good.
Yeah, very, very feels good. Oh, looks like we got the key.
Yeah, so we might actually
says-
find ourselves
yeah.
fire item. Oh, we have a lantern, so we can actually go and do this.
Yeah, I got the lantern. Oh, we got both keys. So no bathroom break just yet.
Yeah, with 2 items here in the Tower of Hera to find, there is a chance that we won't need to go into the basement, and it's of course desirable for that to be the case. Meanwhile, Hancin's going to go ahead and check Desert Palace area now.
So I'm assuming as soon as JCope is done with Hera, he's probably gonna find a way to book it to that hammer.
Yeah, at this place, at this point, for sure.
Closest location we can get to is the Dark World Portal by Kakariko. That one in between Kakariko and Lost Woods.
Yeah, and you know, it is interesting because Thieves Town requiring a hammer just to fully clear, in the event that there's something in the big key chest, you might actually want to avoid going in there until you've gone around and picked up the hammer. Perhaps take an opportunity to go through all the overworld checks along the North Shore.
Important note, I don't think JCope checked this, but Hancin looked like checked it, but I think it was Quake that was required to enter Misery Mire. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is. Nice. Interesting.
That is an important find.
Alright, and Troll Arm goes down. He's basically cakewalk with that Cheetos tempered sword.
Oh, another item here. So we're going to have to head to the basement if we want to check it. Jay already switching to the lantern.
Yeah, and 2 crystals in under 30 minutes. It's pretty nice.
That's amazing. But as I was saying, with the cape, as well as Titan's Mitts, They're going to be able to check Bumper Cave, Graveyard Ledge, and King's Tomb a lot if they choose to go the north route, right out of Kakariko Village, or Village of Outcasts, sorry. And that might be a nice, efficient set of checks to make, even if they wish to continue it over by hopping through the river and picking up catfish as well. Successfully catching just the edge of that peg to get the invulnerability frames. Oh, that's absolutely correct. You do need King's Tomb. My mistake. Boots for King's Tomb. I always forget when you can get in there with the Titan Smiths that, oh yeah, you do need that. But still, catfish down to Pyramid Ledge check might be a good idea, and then pick up your hammer and then start clearing out some of those crystal dungeons. Just get those overworlds checks out of the way.
Could see what this break was used for. Oh, it was just for 20.
Not anyone's favorite thing there. So we'll see now what Jay decides to do with this much world open to him.
I think going into Skull Woods would be a pretty good play. It's just a pendant.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, in a 4-2 race here where everything is on the line, you might want to avoid the pendant dungeons, but at the same time, it's a potentially a really good gamble. Looks like he's gonna go ahead.
He's gonna avoid it for now.
Yeah, and when you don't have the fire rod yet, you can't definitely clear it out. There's a good chance that your items are locked behind the fire rod anyway. So, just some arrows here in the chest game.
He's gonna pass up on Thieves Town for now. He's gonna check the Sea House first. See what that is, and oh, silvers! Oh, we don't have to worry about silver with Ganon.
Yeah, and as well, I hadn't thought about it, but there's also the south route as well that could easily take, which will also lead through Hype Cave into the hammer at Hylia Island. So there's a lot of ways to get this without being tempted into the dungeons. We'll have to see what happens, though. Just 10 more arrows. Lots of arrows here in Village of Outcasts. Now the switch to the mirror here tells me that Jay's probably going to go ahead and save Jeremiah.
Yeah. He's just got everything to... Oh, he's not. He's going to go do Alec Baldwin's digging game first. Then maybe he'll do...
So the south route here... Yeah, the south of Grove and check Stumpy.
How many digs is it going to be? Looks like we're coming to 10. Oh man. A lot of digs this time around. Oh, it's just for a vanilla piece of heart.
Yeah, that's always disappointing when it's that many digs for the piece of heart. Fortunately, able to get off the screen without the text box popping up, because that's just extra frustrating.
He's gonna pass up Jeremiah for now. He's probably gonna get the hammer first, that way he can route Jeremiah with Ped Cave.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense.
So he knows where that hammer is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is a very well played round for Jacob right now.
Yeah, and gonna probably route in all the way through Hype Cave first, of course, before going back to the Light World to pick up those hammers. But we'll see what happens here at Stumpy. Stumpy gives the boots!
Hey, booze.
So that does open up Desert Palace afterwards. And now does give them access to both Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb along that north route. So super efficient.
Oh yeah. And it looks like Jacob's next up is Hype Cave. Second Hype Cave. No, there's multiple Hype Caves nowadays. This
I
is
don't
the
even
original
know.
one.
I don't even know if it's possible for this to be a hype cave. There's just not enough items left. I suppose there could be
Well,
some
let's
pains and some
give it a
medallions.
check.
But
The NPC has full heart container and powder. Okay, that could be something. 350 and more bombs. Well, I guess powder's always nice to have.
yeah, especially since he's gonna pick up hammer, probably gonna go do Jeremiah and hammer pegs, and now you can route in mad batter. So for efficiency purposes, it's not awful actually.
Yeah, the seed's been very, very generous with routing.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's very convenient that he's probably gonna do that. But first, he's gonna pick up that hammer, and then maybe he's gonna go do hobo because he missed out on hobo and both ice rod cave as well.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Yeah, look at that. He jumps into the water here. Oh nope, gonna flute away. Oh nope, fooled us.
Keeps fooling us. Meanwhile, Hancin, finally in the Dark World. Let's see if he's gonna take the same approach as JCopes. He's gonna pass up on treasure chest game. Interesting. Oh, and sea house.
Yeah, he's got a idea in his head, and he's just going straight for it.
Okay.
You know what? He's looking.
I think he's already
looking for
booking
that
his
hammer.
hammer.
Absolutely, yeah. He's gonna go all in on the hammer. Meanwhile, Jay picks up his blue mail there from Hobo. And now
Hanson's gonna be in for a wild ride with all those digs. Yeah, now Jacob is gonna go do Thieves Town.
Might go look at the Skullwoods just for some items. There's only 2 there, and it's relatively quick. But I have a feeling it's just gonna go right for Thieves Town. Yeah.
All right. Let's see what good old Thieves Town has for us.
Yeah, with 4 items here, plus boots, it's actually a really fast and highly efficient dungeon. First item is at Big 20.
Oh, Hanson's gonna do Jeremiah. Does not have the hammer, so he cannot do Head Cave.
And Jay picks up a second item, was a full heart container. Let's see what Jeremiah gives as a tip.
Of $20.
Hey, you know, you only really moved him 2 screen transitions plus a mirror. It's $20 is pretty good.
Oh, he's gonna also do Gary's lunchbox.
Yeah, well, he does have access to the mirror, so you might as well take this lunchbox on a little mini world tour.
Also, technically on the way to the hammer.
Mm-hmm. And Jay finishes off the front half of Thieves Town. So for those keeping track right now, we're looking at a pretty nice set of items necessary to complete the game. On Jay's side, we're looking specifically for, we're gonna need the fire rod, we need at least Quake, if not another medallion, and the hook shot, as well as Cane of Samaria. So it's getting close at 38 minutes. Go mode is already kind of in sight, still quite a few items away, but we know what we're looking for by and large.
Oh yeah. Yeah, recap, we need fire rod, we need Cane of Samaria, we need hook shot, and we need Quake. Maybe another medallion depending on what TR requires. Alright. Hancin's gonna go into Hype Cave. Pick up his powder. Jacob finds the small key to the Thieves Town, so he's gonna be able to open this chest.
Yeah, it's nice to have picked up the hammer before coming here. It's just a piece of heart, so nothing too exciting. But leaving that chest orphaned is really frustrating when you don't have to.
All right, Hancin's finally gonna pick up his hammer.
All right, so let's see what happens with this blind fight. See if it can stay on script.
Well, do you know that broken petals are kind of pointless? Nice, helpful information from Blind. So far, it's going off pretty good. Running in the face free. And very clean for Jacob.
Not bad at all. Throwing a couple hammer swipes in there and picks up that burrito, but more importantly, a third crystal at 41 minutes. Not too shabby.
Oh, looks like Hancin's gonna make the play on Pod.
Yeah, that's a really interesting play since we do know that Palace of Darkness is a pedestal. It's a lot, or a pendant item, or
Pendant.
dungeon. Whoa.
Well, I guess
Perhaps
if you
just
want
gonna.
to
Yeah, I don't know.
talk about pedestal items. The only ones are Fire Rod and Hookshot.
Yeah, and maybe not even Fire Rod if Bombos is not available. Oh no, never mind. Yes, it can still be.
We still need Fire Rod for TR.
Yeah.
If anyone at home wants a pedestal seed, it's gonna be Quake or Canis Samaria.
Yeah, now I find this to be a very interesting decision here because there's so many available crystal dungeons to be done. And when that happens, it seems a little unusual to step foot in a pendant dungeon, but I'm not 4 and 2, so there you go.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of 4 and 2. I'm 2 and 4. I know. Hey, we got a blue banana though.
Yeah, so now Jay is going to be able to very efficiently deal with all of these checks here related to the Jeremiah Bullfrog. He's going to give us our Mad Hatter check, or Mad Batter rather.
Mad Batter.
See what we get cursed with today.
Ah, yes. The horrifying curse of money.
50 rupees. Well, it's not what anyone wants, but I wouldn't say no to it. If I was a Hylian? I don't even know.
Hylian.
Hylian?
Uh-oh. Hansin had a little trouble with that red mimic there. Ooh, that was very clean. Using those boots to get through that conveyor belt room.
So Jay's actually going to take this chest on like the full circuit world tour. It's going to go all the way around the north shore, the northern part of Hyrule, check Bumper Cave, do Bonk Rocks, Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, maybe even visit.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Hansin's gotta be careful. Oh, he's trying to do this little small trick, trying to bonk his way back up to the ledge. Uh-oh. Okay, he's gonna use
Gonna mirror out there. Yeah, he abandoned that particular skip. It is possible to bonk off that ladder and make your way to that chest.
It's a nice, interesting time save.
And there's the
Hey!
Fire Rod here
Fire Rod.
in Bonk Rock. So Jay, once again, successful in picking the correct path through his routing. Just getting lucky with a lot of these great item finds in what seems to be the right order for him. So that's just opening up the world.
All right.
And it is as if the seed wants him to go this way, so it's not even like he's making checks that are outrageous. They're pretty much exactly what you would expect to make, given the item loadout and position that he finds himself in at various parts in the game.
Oh yeah. It looks like pod play for Hancin not paying off that well. Of course, this is the secondary name of this dungeon. It's called Palace of Keys, because you're gonna find the first few chests in pod is just keys, and also the other boomerang was in pod as well. Yeah, but you never know.
Yep.
Could be something.
And just another 20 rupees here in King's Tomb for Jay. Still not finding that hook shot, which is what you kind of really hope to find sooner rather than later at this point.
Hook shot's probably our next progression item, because it locks up Swamp House, and more importantly, the other side of Death Mountain. Well, we don't. We have the hammer. Never mind.
Yeah, we have the hammer now, so we can go from the top down.
Well, Hookshot Cave. Hookshot Cave. That's pretty good.
And Jay picks up his fire rod. We also have access to desert now, so we can finish that dungeon off, and it looks like that's where JCopes is planning on going. And with the Moon Pearl now, might also hook shot in darkness.
That pod play was good after all.
Absolutely, super required. Unless our runners learn how to hover, that is going to definitely be a necessary step. And you gotta feel
number 2.
You gotta feel really good if you're Hancin now, because you worked all this way through a pendant dungeon, and it was starting to get to the point where you're out of items to check.
That.
So that's really going to be like, all right, I've done something great, and that could very easily be the troll item of this seed. Like, where am I gonna we'll see in time if Jay is on a hookshot hunt at some point during the course of this, and having to decide which pendant dungeon to go in.
Well, it looks like Hancin, seeing that hookshot, he's gonna go even deeper. Go to Helmathorn King.
Well, there's almost kind of the sunk cost situation here. He spent a lot of time in Palace of Darkness, and it would be if pendant does end up being required, if all of these pendant dungeons are required for some reason, you might as well go ahead and do this. He has no way of knowing exactly what Jay's found and what other items might be available to him, so
yeah.
And there is, of course, an item still on Helmathor.
Yeah, it's always nice to get a pendant for some sort of item that we all know by now. It's gonna be nameless, but we're thinking about it. Speaking of which, a pedestal is technically in Logic. But I'm not gonna be that guy.
I mean, it could happen. With no medallions yet, that's very interesting as well. But yeah, the longer he spends here, he's gonna have to hope to get lucky.
Well, let's see. He's just fighting Helmathor right now.
And positionally, at this point, I think Hancin's going to come out of this and feel like he made a good call. Picking up the hook shot is going to have made this dip into a pendant dungeon feel absolutely worth every moment that he spent.
Yeah, regardless if this item's useless or not. It was just a big 20. But it was nice to see that going in the pod was still a good play. Meanwhile, JCope is taking on land mode. A little bit of a joke with those silver arrows.
Yeah, gets a 2-cycle kill, which is not bad. Gets another item, but more importantly, the 4th crystal of his seed.
Yeah, 4 crystals, not even an hour in. That's actually really good for JCope right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Hancin's now gonna go back to the Dark World. I wonder if he's gonna take that north route call, pick up his fire rod.
Well, let's see. Oh, it looks like JCope's gonna go back to Ice Rod Cave. He hasn't been here yet, but
Yeah, and when you have boots and flute, that's that's as good a time as ever as you're gonna get to check this beyond the very beginning.
it looks like Hancин's gonna make his way into Thieves Town. Didn't have that much progression in it. But it's nice to get that 1 crystal over with.
Yeah, and now we'll see where Jay decides to go. He looks like he's gonna head to Ice Palace.
Yeah.
It's another.
So far, that's the last crystal dungeon we can do right now.
Yeah, absolutely, that's true.
Three items in Ice Palace. And it's also a red crystal. But we can't access Pyramid Fairy just yet. We need to finish Mire first. Which is blocked by both King of Samaria and the Bacon Coin.
Yeah, so really, it's awkward when you don't have any medallions at this point. You just hope to find something, but...
And we still don't know what's required for TR. Could be the same medallion, could be a different one.
At some point, all of those checks on Death Mountain are starting to weigh on our players' minds. Like, they're gonna have to think to themselves, like, there's Paradox Cave, there's Spiral Cave, Super Bunny Cave, all of the Dark Death Mountains. Of course, when I don't have Hookshot, it's a little less enticing, but Hookshot Cave could contain the Hookshot as well.
Oh yeah, and there's also the other 2 pendant dungeons, Swamp House and Skullwood. Seeing how valuable Pod was on Hancin's side, that could also be something as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. Although I think Hancin's in a position now where he's got crystals to deal with. He's got the Hookshot, which is really going to make Death Mountain look great. So I imagine he'll stay out of any pendant dungeons for a little bit of time, just to make sure he's not wasting time at this point.
A very nice bomb jump from JCope right there.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, nice 1 spin attack to take down all of those penguins.
Yeah, that was a nice one. Slid right into position. Now, without the hook shot, if it's quite possible that Jay's going to find himself having to make that second bomb jump. It's a little bit more challenging in Ice Palace.
And speaking of which, Ice Palace's first item is just a red ruby.
Yeah,
Well, he also has a big key. He's probably going to check the big chest first.
Yeah, without the hook shot, you have to go down this proper way. There's the key that you'd want in order to avoid that that difficult bomb jump. But we'll see if he chooses to make use of it like that.
Alright, Hancin's almost done the Thieves Town. He's gonna go fight Blind pretty soon. First, he's gonna get this last chest. I'm a little stuck there for JCope.
And let's see if Ice Tea Room gives us anything useful. Just another 20 rupees. So we're down to 1 item left here in Ice Palace.
Now, one last item. We'll see where JCope goes after this, after he takes a trip to Cold Stare Creamery. Well, it looks like he is gonna
He's gonna make this bomb jump. Yeah, this is a tricky one, and these clears out the jellies, whatever they're called. I always forget. Starts with B. So this is a very pixel perfect bomb jump. You have to place this bomb and then get on the last possible corner pixel there to get knocked across this gap.
Meanwhile, Hancin just took care of line.
Oh, good job, Jay, and excellent for
nice.
Hancin. Yeah, that was very nice.
Hancin didn't need to do that on his trip to Ice Palace. He already has a hook shot.
Yeah, he'll have the easy way for. And, you know, that may look simple, that particular bomb jump. If you're well familiar with the first bomb jump in Ice Palace, it is relatively straightforward, but that second one is significantly more difficult to accomplish.
Another small key. Maybe our last item is in this chest right here. And it's just fire, so Ice Palace is sort of a bust.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do it anyway, so you can't really complain too much. Hancin now finally picking up his silver arrows out of that C-shaped house. I was wondering when he was going to get along to doing that.
Yeah, it's interesting that we both have silver arrows in the bow as well as tempered swords, so Ganon's going to be very, very easy for our runners today.
Yeah, so Hancin now has to catch up on a bunch of these efficient checks that Jay was able to make.
The big advantage Hancin has right now over JCope is he picked up the hook shot, which is in a pendant dungeon being pod.
Yeah, so it is really going to come down to when Jay decides to make that play. Palace of Darkness may not be the one his first choice.
It may look like Hancin is sort of behind, but that hook shot, it kind of makes the scores even.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a very, very good gamble for Hancin to do a pendant dungeon over any other crystal dungeons.
It was a gutsy call.
Alright.
Let's see. So with that, Jay's heading down to Cold Stare Fight. He's going to have to use all 8 of his shots here to unlock the puffs. With Tempered Sword, though, he gets a nice corner lock. There he goes. Juggles some of Cold Stare.
Juggles all those cream puffs.
Yeah, takes one down relatively quickly. Gets a dash for the second one. And the third one goes down not too long.
Very nice.
That was really nice.
That's crystal number 5 for JCope. More specifically, a red crystal.
Yeah, and now Hancin's gonna make the checks up through here to Bonk Rocks and perhaps Bumper Cave if he heads north a little bit. Yes, he does. And we know that Bumper Cave doesn't have anything good on it.
Yeah, but on the other hand, the Sank Bonk Rocks is gonna have the Fire Rod.
Yeah, absolutely. Great item for him. Good that he made this choice now. It's going to allow him an opportunity to pull ahead, perhaps.
It looks like JCope is going to make the play to the other side of Death Mountain.
And depending on where items are located, if there's a useful item that requires the hookshot up here, this might be, unfortunately for him, not the most ideal situation, because Hancin, when he finally chooses to go to Death Mountain, is going to be able to collect that. So, this is, you know, randomizer gods, where are you now? We'll see what happens.
He's going to skip out on Spike Cave for now. May come back to that later. Alright, so finally on the other side of Death Mountain. First, we're going to check the floating island. It's just a piece of heart.
Yeah, since you got dead rocked, you might as well go down Spiral Cave first and come back up through Paradox.
Yeah, not so Resident Sleeper Cave this time around. I got those boots.
Yeah, it's so much nicer when you can dash. So now Hancin has completed the north checks that we've already seen Jay make. Jay picks up a big 20 here at the bottom of Spiral Cave. Now with the hookshot, Hancin might choose to actually head all the way over to Catfish.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's excellent. Didn't need the hookshot, but he didn't have Gary's lunchbox with him like Jay did, and that prevented him from making this particular check. So we'll see if we might get Vanilla Quake even.
That'd be interesting. Meanwhile, Jacob's checking the 2 chests in Paradox Cave. We got Piece of Heart and Piece of Heart. Or as I like to call it, Hype Cave 3.0. This is the 3rd Hype Cave.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what we'll see here. So there's the cane. Woo!
Cane is Samaria, so now we're just a bacon coin away from go mode.
Potentially, yes, until we see the Turtle Rock.
Oh, Hancin just passing up that validation arrow from Catfish. Oh, we're gonna see if the Quake Medallion is gonna be our last item for go mode because we haven't checked Turtle Rock just yet.
Yeah, Hancin choosing over to head up to Ice Palace. Going to have a little bit of an easier way to path through it. Not that Jay didn't get through it really quickly, which he did. It's going to be slight difference. So maybe maybe up to a minute difference here for Hancin.
Our Red Cane doesn't open too much in terms of logic. So we don't have the Quake Medallion to open Misery Mire. Oh, we also need the Ether Medallion for Turtle Rock. So
2 medallions on the hunt for. Hookshot, of course, is still required on JCopes' side, so he's got to hit Palace of Darkness at some point. And that will be potentially his go modem. Hookshot are those 2 medallions.
Now it's important to note that JCope can only check 1 chest here. And it's just a big 20.
Yeah. So he's starting to look he's got Super Bunny Cave as well to check. But he's gonna start looking some pendant dungeons in the face.
Yeah, we're running out of overworld locations. That could mean that our last item could be in our pendant dungeon. We'll see. Let's see if Cooper Bunny Cave has something. It's nothing.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see where he's going to decide to go coming out of this situation. He's got Spiral Cave he might head over to first, or not Spiral Cave, sorry, Spike Cave, but he's fluting away instead.
I'm hoping that JCope goes to Pod first, because that has the hook shot.
Yeah, but in this particular move, looks like he's going to be going up to Skull Woods. Palace of Darkness has its own portal that he could have fluted to, so... You know, we do need 2 medallions, so this may not be... It's not necessarily a bad call at all. Just because we know that Palace of Darkness has the hookshot doesn't mean that he's not going to find Ether or Quake here.
And who knows? Those last 3 chests in Hookshot Cave could also have something as well. Chest is just the big key. Alright, so we did nachos in the second chest. JCope has to go all the way down here to get this guaranteed key. The only item in Randomizer that is not randomized.
Yeah, just through... Because the randomizer logic requires that every dungeon is completable, turns out that there is a way to soft lock yourself in this particular Skull Woods. unless that key is guaranteed to be there.
Yes, and that even happens in Key Sanity.
Yep.
Okay, there's another bomb jump for JCope. Doing the boot strat. All for a burrito.
Now, it's also important to keep in mind that this is the green pendant, so if he doesn't find anything from it, there is as well the additional check he's going to get out of the harsh. And since he has the cane, he gets to do this the easy way.
Oh, yes. The Cane of Samaria is like a very good item to use in that room. It looks like we're gonna go deeper in the Skull Woods now.
And you almost wish you had the boots at this point, or the book at this point, so you could do a pen check, but not
We could
necessarily
actually see the book. That could be a thing too.
There is the
Not just
possibility.
for checking the pedestal, but for also checking the 2 tablets as well.
Mhm.
Or we can even see the mushroom. And the shovel. Good old fetch quest items.
Oh, that's gotta hurt when there's a full magic container dropped, but you went through a door that will not open.
Alright. It's time to take down Mafia. And makes clean work with that Cheeto
Yeah,
sword.
absolutely.
And it's just a big 20, so far Skullwoods is a bust. But maybe that green pendant could cash it in this after all. It could be something useful.
Yeah, and actually, now that I think about this, this would naturally lead Jay back to Palace of Darkness
Oh, that's also
to
good
do the
too.
turn-in, so we know that that will help him out. He's got to go back in and check this final chest because he's still short an item.
I don't think he's gonna go to Swamp without the hook shot.
Yeah.
That's the last dungeon we haven't been into. Oh, big 20. Oh, and Hancin on cold there. Had to use his
Yeah,
blue potion.
Almost ran out of magic there.
This is usually a nice boss to take potions with you, because you never know. There's a lot of magic on this dungeon, especially that half magic.
Yeah, so I like this because it didn't open up a bad thing for Jay would have been to find the Quake medallion there, which would have opened up Misery Mire for him and pulled him away from Palace of Darkness.
Yeah.
So he's actually quite fortunate, I think, that did not happen.
Or it could have been the Ether medallion, could have pointed him towards Turtle Rock.
Yeah, either would have
Alright,
been
let's see.
potentially awkward.
See what the old man has for us. Oh, a bit of love. So yeah, I think all we have left is the last free chest in Hookshot Cave, which Hancin's almost on his way to right now, and Swamp Palace. Oh, I don't think we checked the Mire Shed. Did we check the Mire Shed?
Yeah, I don't believe that either runner has gone into Mire Shed yet. They were there early when they were still a bunny. Neither of them checked it when they were doing the desert, so it is still possible.
Okay, that could be something as well.
Hancin hasn't yet gone back for desert, so.
Okay, hold on. Never
did
mind,
it?
I think
Oh
chat's
yes,
saying
I
that
do
they
remember the
checked it.
JCopes did it. Yeah.
Shoutouts to our tracker, Deuce May, as well as our restreamer, Iceman, for letting us know that.
So very excited to see the differences what Hancin can pick up over on this side of when he gets to Dark Death Mountain.
He's gonna find his red cane. Oh, not that bomb jump. That's okay. Only saves a couple of seconds.
Yeah. Especially since you have to come back here and lift this heavy rock. Or he's gonna go from the top down. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going. He looks like he's routing this the opposite of Jacob. He's going from the down to the top.
So here we
went from
see
up to the
there Jay makes the that bonk that Hancin was having problems with. And then is incredibly trolled by that beetle. He's gonna try it again.
Ooh, making quick use of that Cane of Samaria there.
Oh, so frustrating.
Gotta reset the room. It's okay. And more specifically, the hook shot was in the dark maze. Anyone's wondering.
Yeah, now this is gonna put them back on like equal item footing.
A good hook chocolate from hands right there. It's gonna come down to who's gonna find those two medallions first. Although we could see one of them in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, that's possible. As well, well, we could see both, I suppose.
That would give Hancin a huge advantage. But yes, looks like if one of the medallions is not in here, Swamp would probably be the next play.
Jay looks like he's planning on trying to make a hammer jump here. To whoa, bufferless. Succeeds.
Interesting.
Not bad.
All right, moment of truth. First chest. Art container. Second chest. Blueberries. Third chest. $1. So it looks like
Wow.
Swamp Palace is the play.
And at this point, it almost Jay nopes out of Palace of Darkness having picked up that hook shot.
Or not.
Nope, going back in.
Oh! We haven't seen Spike Cave yet.
Yep, and here we're about to get our first look at the Spike Cave.
Jacob missed out on Spike Cave.
Yeah, without the hook shot, he probably, if he had already used his potion, may not have been able to make it through here. Even with Cape, you sometimes need to have enough magic. Maybe he didn't have enough. I can't remember exactly what his situation was. Hookshot certainly makes it a lot easier.
Let's see. Oh.
It was not meant to be a problem.
It was not meant to be a problem. Yeah, so it looks like Swamp Palace is the place to go right about now. Also, what's interesting right about now is that Jacob is going to get his second pendant.
Yeah, and I kind of, you know, there was some questions in chat about whether or not Hancin should have done that when he went. When this is your second of the three, and you're already hunting for that item, those, you know, you're gonna head into Swamp at this point if you're in JCopes4Life.
Yeah.
You might as well get this because there's a chance.
That pedestal could just come into play at the last second.
Mm-hmm.
Even without that book, the pedestal could still be involved. Man, what's interesting? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it was checked.
Yep, absolutely. I remember now that empty bottle.
Tell you, what's more hyped about pulling the pedestal is doing it blind.
Yeah, that's true. Now, Hancin, of course, has not yet done Desert Palace, so he's going to achieve parity here with Jay in just a few moments, as Jay's about to kill Hamasar King.
As clever as the devs are in putting in funny text with the memorial tablet thing on the pedestal, giving it hints. Suspense of the pedestal. That's where it's at. And there goes Hamasar King.
Yep, not an item. And we'll see if that was a lifesaver. He probably realized that he was still short one item and thought, oh gosh, if it's a medallion, I'll be screwed if I don't get it. So he definitely made the choice to stay. With the knowledge he had, I can't blame him for that.
I know. You see,
and could pay off.
yeah, I could have paid off. What I find interesting, this seed was very, very generous with getting out items for free in like the first half of the game, and now we're still looking for 2 medallions.
So Jay's actually going back to Death Mountain to finish off that hookshot cave.
Oh yeah, he's playing it safe at this point.
For his sake, you kind of hope he'll also do Spike Cave. Not that it matters, but you think he'll probably make that call as well if he remembers.
Yeah. As much as Swamp Palace is a very, very... It has the logic we need, but it's very, very long to complete.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to know if you need to do that dungeon beforehand.
Yeah, and there's really not many other places to look. So as soon as he finishes this, that's where he's going to head. Hancin, meanwhile, will have to make a choice between Swamp and Skullwoods. So we'll see what he chooses to do as soon as he finishes Desert Palace.
Uh-huh. And also Swamp Palace has the most chests. It has 6 items in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to count TR, it has 5 items in the dungeon as well as Mimic Cave. Technically counts. Alright, as soon as Hancin is done getting the last crystal in Desert Palace, they're going to be on even footing right about now.
Yeah, the only advantage that Jay has is that he has killed Mothula, so if it is a Ped Seed, that's going to be very beneficial for him. But if not, and Hancin chooses to go to Swamp Palace, they're going to be almost entirely even on one another.
Oh yeah. Alright, yep, he's footing the floor. Going to Swamp Palace.
Yep. And I
and
imagine
I think Hancin's going to be right behind him.
Yeah, so as well, we should keep note, like, we're an hour and 18 minutes in what is turning out to be a possible full clear situation. Not bad timing for these two runners.
Well, it looks like Jacob's going to be the first to enter Swamp House, but it's still anybody's race.
Yeah, this is pure moments behind. There's still room for a lot of significant potential divergence. If in the event that they find one of the medallions, if one of them chooses to go directly into the other dungeon without staying through Swamp Palace, could prove very interesting. And if this is indicative of any of the other 4-2 matchups that we're going to be seeing this week, I don't think anybody has cause to complain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you guys need to get hyped. This is the last week of the Swiss. These two runners are fighting for our lives in the tournament. And it's going to come down to who's going to find 2 coins first.
Yeah. We're literally just mere seconds apart from one another.
And the first item is just a $5 ruby. It's one down. 5 to go.
Yeah, there is not really much else for them to check besides this dungeon. On Hancin's side, of course, he still has Skull Woods to check, but we do know that that's not going to pay off unless, of course, the pedestal is required.
Oh, Iceman, Message, and Tat. No one... Did anyone check Pyramid Ledge?
Yeah, I believe that they're both trying to save that for Pyramid Fairy.
Oh, yeah, that could be something, too.
Yeah.
So we got Rosa Swamp, Pyramid Ledge, and Pedestal. That is in logic right about now. I call this room the Water Circle Room. Because it's full of water and it makes a giant circle. Or you can say a square. Whatever fits your boat. Red Bale.
Well, there's the Red
All right.
Bale.
Well, I don't think it was technically what our runners are looking for, but it's nice to have.
Yeah, and Jay's gonna go ahead and go right to the
Straight
backside.
To the end. This is gonna be a game.
Well, it is, and it isn't. There's the potential that I'm sure he'll go back if he doesn't find anything here, but in the event that you do, it is a significant advantage. It's only a few seconds difference if you don't. It is a delay, but it's not a it's not a monstrous delay. So
Meanwhile, it looks like Hancin is gonna check the left side. So this is gonna be interesting. Meanwhile, Jacob's giving a check on these two chests down here. There's we go! Oh,
And
the
a
shovel as
shovel.
well! Alright, we can go to Misery Mire, folks.
yeah, and I gotta believe that that'll be his next choice after he finishes this dungeon.
Unless both Ether
Unless he
is
finds the
also in here, which could be the chance.
Yeah, and I would imagine that he'll go to Misery Mire first in the event that he does find Ether and use Turtle Rock as the final dungeon to open up Ganon's Tower, just for routing reasons. But we kind of felt like there had to be something, and so we've now seen. Now, what'll be very interesting to see is if there's something here on the left side that's important, and if Jay decides to just go ahead and fast track his way over to Misery Mire in the hopes that that was where he needed to go.
Yeah.
Could be a potential turning point in the game.
This could be a very big turning point. And Jacob is just taking care of Argus with those that Cheeto sword. No menu swap simulator here.
So we're about to see if a skip will pay off. We'll find out in just a few seconds on Hancin's
I
side.
think we've only found 4 items so far. Oh!
So he does need to go there. So
All right.
Pet is dead.
Yeah, sadly, folks, Pet is dead. But we are in go mode.
So
We need 2
what
more
will Jay
dungeons,
choose
but
to do
it'll
here?
be easy to go mode. Oh.
And Jay, what are you gonna do?
Don't-
Oh, he goes
don't-
back
don't-
in.
Yes, okay.
Oh, and that's gonna make a big difference for him. He's gonna have both dungeons able to complete coming out of this. So, whew. He even had a little menu there to give us a little bit of heart palpitations.
Of course, Hanson's still gonna check that chest. Found the
Well,
big key
yeah,
back
of course
there.
he needs to do so. It's gonna be interesting how quick he nopes out of this dungeon as soon as he gets the second medallion. If he's clever about it, he won't stay any longer.
Man, this is just. I think our answers are almost dead eating.
Well, at this point, Hancin's going to be able to pull ahead because he'll pick up Quake Medallion.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to who can execute the last 2 dungeons, as well as Ganon's Tower, easy.
But he won't actually have to defeat Argus, so he's
Yeah.
going to see this and be like, you know what?
He's find the Quake.
I'm done.
Yeah.
So that is an
Hanson
advantage.
pulls ahead. We're gonna see if he's gonna do Turtle Rock or Misery Mire first. Of course, we still need to find the big keys and the small keys to those dungeons, but other than that, it should be pretty cakewalk.
Since they're both go modes, it's a fairly straightforward path for both of them through it. it's going to come down really to execution, especially in the Ganon's Tower. There'll be the opportunity for Ganon's Tower to be integral to the victor here, how well they perform there. And we're really only looking at a few seconds difference, so it is still absolutely anyone's game. Jay's going to find his medallion in just a few seconds. He'll get out of here.
Oh yeah,
And
he's just
we'll be
gonna
in Misery
book it.
Mire quite literally a few minutes of, like less than a minute between the two of them.
Yeah, like the only item that we're missing is Butter Sword. So I don't think our runners are gonna go out of the way for safety.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. They're going to be full go moding these last two dungeons. Now, Misery Mire, as far as the go mode, is really up to the dungeon itself. There's potential for it to be really, really quick if we find the big key right away. But it could also troll you heavily. And Turtle Rock, on the other hand, is fairly similar. Its go mode scenario is fairly similar to
alright, Ryan. Forgot about
Yep.
that. But yeah.
fairly similar to its normal progression. You can skip Mimic Cave.
Yeah, that's the only thing we can skip. We need to find free keys if you want to skip the remaining chests before we go to the room with all the anti-fairies in it. I don't know what you call that room. Oh, there's a key, but it's the wrong size.
Yep. So we get the official time from chat that it's about 1 minute and 2 seconds difference between these two runners. And that's really going to come down to that Ganon's Tower execution and perhaps choice about routing in the Ganon's Tower big key hunt.
Oh, we got that too. Half magic.
Half magic's not a bad find. I mean, it's not what you want, but I never look down my nose at half magic, I'll tell you that much.
It makes those torch rooms in Ganon's Tower easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, potential to use your fire rod a little bit more freely during the gauntlet section if you want. Oh, so interestingly enough, Jay is actually going to make up a little bit of time here because he's going right to that cutscene room. So skipping out on that half magic location.
That would be interesting. Or he can kind of get it along the way. But we haven't found the big key in that one chest down there.
Yeah,
Hancin's just open.
I was anticipating that he would, but he did not. So it probably won't make much of a difference here.
We got 2 chests remaining.
Yeah, and they won't be looking in the big key chest. They'll just get this one here.
Oh yeah. No, this is gonna be the big key.
Yeah. And you'll be able to go
it
straight
is.
north.
Oh. Or not. Hancin just opened that door on accident.
Yeah, and so now I think he actually has to go to the... Does he have to go to the big key? Does he have a key? He's got to go to this teleporter door. Oh, no, maybe he does. Yeah, you can use this door.
Okay, you can use this door.
Oh, no! His routing...
Oh no, Hancin!
He's unsure of how the best way to get there. It's through this door here. Yes, and if he goes...
Alright, there we go.
So there's a little bit of a whoops.
He's gotta use this door right here.
Yeah, and now
Oh
As
man.
we see,
Are we
this
back
allows-
on even footing again?
this allows us to be almost. We are literally moments
What?
difference from one another.
Oh, we'll see
Execution
what happens
on-
in Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna pick up this magic pot over here. So yeah, we're almost even footing.
Wow. So we've really pulled almost neck and neck. JCopes was already ready to use the Cane of Samari here, so.
Oh my god!
Wow! Pulls ahead!
That hit the room at the
No.
same time!
Slight
Hancin had a little
change.
trouble on that switch!
Now the real
Now
question is, do
JCopes
either of
got
these
over
runners have
there.
the fire swords, the skip here? And neither of them are using it, so that would have been at least one screen transition save.
It looks like JCopes has now taken the lead.
Wow, can you believe that? That was an unanticipated turn of events, but this is Randomizer, ladies and gentlemen. You never really know what's going to happen.
Anything could happen in Randomizer.
Accidentally bumping a key door, losing that key, gave Hancin a little bit of a throw for a loop. Wasn't ready for that, and I'm sure that's going to weigh heavily on his mind in the end of this matchup, especially if things turn out negatively for him.
I know. Well, they're both entering Vitreous. It's gonna be a joke with those silver arrows. Who gets it? Alright,
Yeah,
JCopes done. And... Oh, that was very well executed by Hancin.
Yep.
Gained a little bit of those seconds back from the misuse of the key over there.
Right, but you have to think to yourself. You have to think to yourself that you just lost about a minute advantage in this particular seed, and not only did it turn around from an advantage lost to actually falling behind by about 10 or 11 seconds. So we'll see if Turtle Rock does the same thing in the other direction.
He's gonna get spin seed. Oh, loses it immediately to the boulder.
Yeah, and these Dead Rocks trying to troll, but fortunately not doing so.
And then Hancin loses it too by jumping off the ledge. Both runners got a little trolled by the raining cabbages and the Dead Rocks.
Yeah, and it's always when you gotta go fast that happens.
I know.
It's when you're just making a leisurely path through, it's no problem. But as soon as you have that sense of urgency, they're right in your way, and the cabbages fall on your head. And you get
Okay, all right.
bounced around
JCopes
by
back on
that.
track.
Now, additionally, Hancin has
that's
to open
interesting.
the portal too. He
Hancin
hasn't
was
done
at
the
the
check.
portal.
He did the check from the other direction, so
That's gonna
that's
save JCopes a little time there.
yeah. And every second matters at this point.
That's one less clip. Alright, JCopes first into
Yep.
Turtle Rock.
At 1 hour, 33 minutes and
44.
44, yeah.
Hancin's gonna be right behind it at 1:33:54. So 10-second lead for JCopes.
10 seconds.
Oh my god. Alright, we're gonna see what Turtle Rock has in terms of items, key locations. First one was just a blue ruby.
Yeah, so that definitely leads them to the, oh no.
Go.
Getting bounced around, trying to dodge that. It's very intense. I can't stress this enough.
Yeah, Axis handles the spinning torture. Ooh, gets it. Nice.
Gets a fast skip there, yeah. And with the half magic, just choosing to just brute force your way through this tunnel.
All right, we got 2 keys already.
Not choosing to mirror out here because there is an advantage in picking up the shorter path on the Canis Mario block.
Oh yeah. Hancin just tanking it through those rolling pins. We found 2 keys already. We're still looking for possibly 1 more small key and a big key. Depends on if the big key is locked by that 1 locked door, which is the vanilla location.
Yeah. So
Now the
chain
chain
jumps.
shop. Oh! Oh! That would have been a really cool strat there by JCope. Oh, it gets it on the second try, though.
Yeah, and
Oh,
there's
there's
the big
the
key,
big
so
key.
it's
All
definitely
right.
necessary. So now you still want to check a bunch of these chests. You're going to steal the key from the pokey because you don't want to end up on Laser Bridge if you avoid it. Looking for items, but...
We technically need 1 more key now.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with JCopes' ability to get through that turtle, the chain chomps room. That was just some incredible techniques that he was using there.
Oh, just abusing the powder on those anti-fairies right there.
He's gonna get a key steal from this pokey.
A little trouble with the pokey there.
And interesting, he doesn't want to make that menu switch to the fire rod because of a save, but has to switch here anyway. Or switched here anyways. Not sure.
Oh, that was very clean by Hancin right there.
Yeah, and he also gets a full set of anti-fairies converted on 1 powder puff.
Oh no, JCope busted the crack wall!
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Hancin's time to catch up.
Oh, he successfully maneuvers there, so that time that he gained, I think, dealing with the chain chomp room, he has now successfully given back up.
Oh, there's the last key. All right, we're
There's
good.
the
We can
key.
skip.
Yeah.
You can skip
All
Laser
of Laser Bridge is going to skip now because he can also skip this room right here coming up. You can go straight through.
Oh, he spawned there. You can hit
And-
that switch for later.
Mhm. And wow, look at, they're in the same room, just half a room behind one another. This is as close as it gets, ladies and gentlemen.
I know.
Just exciting to be really hyped up about this. Is, to say the least. I'm really interested to see what happens here. Excellent Candice Maria there to hit both of those switches in sequence. Hancin gonna go down to Laser Bridge and was like, oh wait a minute, I don't need to. So lost
right.
a few seconds there as well.
Well, it's time for try next. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, an opportunity for either runner to really make a difference.
Alright, gets past Switch Maze pretty good. Of course, with Half Magic, Trinex is a little bit easier.
Oh, gets the
That was nice.
the first cycle, but Trinex gets an extra head dash in there. And Hancin is right hot on his heels.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Oh
gets-
no.
Oh no!
Oh, okay.
And Hancin, unfortunately, missing a couple of times there on that second hit with the ice rod on the firehead.
Uh-oh. Hancin's only have 4 hearts left. He's gotta be careful.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have now achieved the access to Ganon's Tower Big Key.
Alright.
Or Ganon's Tower Big Key game.
Explain this?
Go right ahead, sir.
Alright. There are a grand total of 22 chests in GT. Well, technically 21 because one of them's on top of a torch. If you guess the chest correctly on when we'll find the big key, well, there is no leaderboard because we're on the other channel. But you'll There'll still be a
We'll remember.
you'll win the prize of satisfaction of the ability to mindly guess where the big key in GT is.
So we're going to be following JCopes because he is the first one to enter, so his count is where we'll go. Doesn't matter if they diverge. Get your guesses in now because we're just about out of time.
I'm gonna guess chest number 7.
7. I'm going to go with 11 today, but I like
Alright,
7
well,
as well.
Let's begin. Chest number 1, wrong size. Chest number 2, burrito.
Yeah, interesting that was a key. JCopes doesn't choose to use the mirror to get back out, but is going to go head over to the left side now.
Item number 3, I'm gonna call item, is another small key. He's gonna pick it up anyway.
Yeah, potentially that he won't have to pick up any arrows or any keys on the way up to the gauntlet once he finds it. Hancin, meanwhile, is going to go right side first as well. See if he diverges here.
Next room is, I like to call 4 corners.
Oh, so our runners
Chest
are
number
taking
4.
the same path.
Another small key, chest number 5. Another small key, chest number 6. I'm gonna take out his Stalfos for a bit. Butter sword! Oh, that's always helpful. Chest number 7, empty bottle.
Yes, not exactly the most useful thing to find here in Ganon's Tower. Oh, takes a little fall there.
Nice recovery there. Okay, chest number 8. Double fire stick room. 5 arrow upgrade. Alright. To see some action from the bloomerang on JCopes' side. Misses it. And it's gonna switch to Canis Samaria. Okay, next chest. Be number 9. This room, I don't know what to call it. It's triple bombs.
Yeah. I don't know, I think I call that one the Fire Snakes room.
Fire
but-
snakes room. Gotta have a room name for
Every
each
room
room.
needs a name.
Speaking of which, next room is the randomizer room.
Yep, so named because there's no reason to go in here unless you're looking for the big key in a randomizer game.
10. Red Ruby. 11. Full Heart Container. 12. 50. 13. Red Ruby.
Alright, so next check will be Bob. We'll see if Bob's holding on to the big key.
Like we're gonna get a visit from good old Bob today.
Now we already have killed Bob because they picked up that key off the torch. So it's literally just plain old fairy now. Anti-fairy.
I'm still gonna call him Bob.
It's still his chest.
Yeah.
In memory of Bob.
Swagnet! That was 14, right?
That's 14.
Alright. Almost lost count there for a sec.
So what this does tell us is that had Hancin chosen to go to the other direction, it would have been advantageous for him, but did not choose to go full right. Unless, of course, this
Alright.
is where the key is.
15. Second. 4th bottle. 14. 16. Red Ruby. 17. Red Ruby. So it looks like right side.
It is
was the
definitely
play.
right side.
We
got all the
4
bottles, though.
bottles. Just missing literacy and the mushroom and bombos and red shield. Could be on the. Is he gonna skip out on tile room? Yes, he is.
I can't imagine it. If it's tile room, that'll be the 3rd seed in a row I've commentated. So
Really?
Dang. Yes. So I am seriously cursed if that is the case.
That won't be chest number 18. Chest number 18 will be this room, which will be 18 through 21. And then child chest will be 22. So 18, red ruby, 19, bomb upgrade 20, 50 rubies, 21,
Oh!
Oh,
I was getting nervous.
21.
I was
the
thinking
curse
I'd gone
is
and done it again.
Curse was broken. All right. JCope is the first to enter the third floor of GT. But
Yeah, but
Hancin's still not out of this race. It could be anyone's race at this
he's
point.
very hot on his heels. You know, Ganon's execution, it's not a foregone conclusion how fast you can make your way through this gauntlet. There's a lot of opportunity here for these runners to change positions.
Ooh, really good clean work with those mimics there. Almost low on ammo for the bow.
Yeah, but was able to pick up a plus 10 there, which is super helpful. Not a bad dash through the spike room there. And we'll see if he safely navigates this bullet room. Absolutely.
Can't tell what they're shooting. Are those bullets? What kind of round for bullets?
Musket
Alright.
balls.
Musket balls, alright. Oh, okay. First room of the gauntlet. Nice. Second room, a little bit harder with the beambos. This is the pot throw there. And, oh, troll there by the beamos. Gonna switch to fire rod.
Yeah, this is when you start to think that you found that half magic. Just gives you a lot of leeway to use.
Oh yeah, especially
fire
for
rod
the,
shots.
especially for that one torch room. Well, there's two torch rooms, but well, actually both of them. All right, now we're adding ice to the mix. All right,
Yeah,
nicely
that was
done.
Very nicely done there. As we head towards Land Wallace 2, JCopes decides to just forget about powdering that particular fairy.
He's gonna opt to use the fire rod and not the silver arrows. Interesting. He's gonna conserve those arrows for later, possibly. And he's gonna
I like
Hancin is gonna make a quick pit stop to take use of that net to get some fairies.
Yeah, we'll see if that actually pays off. It could potentially be the difference here if Ganon bodies JCopes a couple of times.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, nice job with the Wizrobe rooms. Both of them.
Absolutely.
And I call that room the bowling alley because you just bowl right over those guards. Now the torch room I've been talking about earlier.
Yeah, take the intentional fall there to reset. We've got just enough magic to get that last torch or that last torch lit.
Oh, yeah. Luckily, there is a magic refill in the spot right here. So he's gonna use it for this room right now.
And Hancin's now on Land Wallace 2. So
He's
just
gonna
about
use
a
silver.
minute or so behind.
I know.
I think he's lost a little bit of time here in the gauntlet.
Yeah. JCope has both keys to enter these two doors. He's got the hookshot ready to hookshot across. Troll arm too.
Yep. And Jay's gonna skip that last chest there because there's pretty much nothing he can find at this moment that's gonna help him out.
Nicely done. Using the spin slashes on Troll arm.
And just grab some literacy for fun.
Test.
Saves that book. Wouldn't want it to be lost when Ganon's tower burns down at the end of this.
Oh yeah. That's a property of the library right there.
And we begin our Aga 2 fight. So let's see just how angry Aghanim wants to be by throwing out any blue balls. We'll see. Gets a single on the first ball.
Almost a double there, but he faded away at the last second.
He's very low on health.
He gets a double there. Oh yeah, he is. He does have that blue potion from earlier. He's gonna use it right now.
Another single.
Hey, there we go.
And a double to finish it off.
Oh man, Hancin had a little problem with that conveyor belt room.
Yeah, it's
Bomb didn't land on it. Uh-oh. Oh man, I think it. I don't know why. I feel like it's still close. JCope is
You
gonna
know, it
enter
is.
Ganon slightly before Hancin, who still needs to take down Aghanim. But JCope doesn't have that much safety. Oh, and Hansen's gonna leave the book to burn.
Yeah, but with Butter Sword at this point, now that he's going to be able to transition phase 1 and phase 2 really quickly, as well. Get some dash strats in for.
Alright, well.
Swag.
He's on the fire bat phase. Taking it for a little bit.
Ooh, gets hit again though.
Uh-oh,
Oh!
uh-oh! Well, he's on the next phase. Usually that's the phase where you take the most hearts on.
Wow, Ganon bouncing
Ganon
all
is
over the room.
right.
Now, in Randomizer, of course, both runners are going to get the same RNG with the number of teleports, as well as positions with the Aghanim boss fight.
Speaking
Hancin,
of Aghanim,
plows through it.
since done, he plowed right through that Aghanim fight faster than JCope. Alright, and speaking of which, JCope on the last phase gets the hit in, gets a single,
and
he gets the torch glitch as well, even though it's not necessary. Uh-oh, switches to power on accident. Oh, misses a shot there. It's the second
Still
one.
got that second
He's gonna go for a double? Oh. Well, he's just one hit away now. He's gonna get any second now? Yes! Very well done by JCope.
Absolutely. Just as Hansen's entering, Ganon goes down. As long as JCopes is able to successfully walk across this incredibly narrow 3-tile wide bridge, we're going to see him enter the Triforce room and claim victory and move on to 5 and 2 with an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 2 seconds. GG, and congratulations to
nice
JCopes.
GG.
Meanwhile, Hancin has to watch Ganon dance around this room about 80,000 times.
That is something you do not want to see when you're in this predicament.
So we'll go ahead and let Hancin finish off this fight before we look to try to track down JCopes to see if he'll come in and join us for a chat. Post-reaction interview, just because why not let Hancin let finish?
5 minutes, same time. Oh!
That was close.
Nice recovery.
And with
Hansen's
that, he
just
has also cleaned up.
Ganon fight. This has been a very exciting race to watch. Hancin finishes with a time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 24 seconds. That's GG for both runners.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, they bounced back and forth all the way through this, so what an exciting matchup for us to watch. You can't really ask for anything better out of a race in this 4-2 position in the last round of the Swiss bracket. So let's throw GG up for both of the runners. And JCopes has indicated that he will be joining us in just a few moments. I think he's got to take a little step and stretch after having finished off that randomizer seed.
Oh, yeah.
And with that, let's welcome both JCopes and Hancin to the room. GG on an excellent race. Congratulations, JCopes, on victory here. How are you feeling about this particular run?
All in all, the seed wasn't too bad. I feel like I made a couple misplays, but all in all, it wasn't too bad.
You know, you guys did not know how neck and neck you were both were, especially in Misery Mire.
Man, I lost so much time in Misery Mire. I need to practice that more.
Yeah, there was definite moments where you passed the lead back and forth as you finished off the last portion of the seed. Of course, the big swing happened during Swamp Palace when Hancin, you went to left side, got your Ether Medallion, and then was able to pick up the Quake Medallion later on in the back and immediately escape out. Jacobs, fortunately for you, you chose to go straight to the back and then had to enter Swamp Palace again for a second time, and that lost you a little bit of time. Now, there was a moment there when you kind of opened up your menu. Were you thinking of just going right into Misery Mire with that Quake Medallion that you picked up?
I was thinking, I was like, maybe I should leave. I was like, nope. If Ether's here, I'm gonna regret this so bad.
Yeah, we were wondering. Chat collectively held its breath, and it was like, oh no!
I held my
on there.
breath. Man.
So that was the first swing, and then of course, as you guys were making your way through Misery Mire, Hancin, you accidentally opened a locked door. Was that? I assume that was unintended.
No, I'm going to go up, and then I just go up, and I'm like, did I open that door? Darn.
Yeah, and so were you struggling to rack your brain for the path to find a way through that?
Yeah, my brain's just like, oh god, I need to find this other path, and I'm like, oh, it's up there. I think it's up there, and I go up there, and it's absolutely nothing. I'm like, well, that's not fortunate.
Yeah, so you did enter Misery Mire about 1 minute ahead, and at the end of that, you guys were neck and neck within a few seconds of one another, probably based mostly on that kind of little oops as you bumped into that doorway and lost your key at the end. So, other than that, the seed started out pretty generous. You guys got all sorts of great items from a lot of the early locations. Well, not necessarily linear with the overworld checks. It was pretty linear with the dungeons that you were capable of doing. Can you just describe, Jacobs? Why don't you go first? Just kind of your thought process as you get through that first dungeon. You have pretty much everything you need except for the hookshot. Why you chose to route the way you did in that you did a lot of overworld checks at that point.
It was hard to. I just felt that was the checks I should do, like finding lamp at Checkerboard Cave. I was thinking if I went up to Hera right now, I could be lamp locked. And I've had Moon Pearl in Checkerboard Cave before, so that's why I decided to do that one.
Oh, that's the only place to have Moon Pearl.
Oh, absolutely. It's evil, to say the least. But yeah, so after I did Eastern, I decided to do that. I tried putting off South Shore for a little bit longer, but that didn't work out.
Right. And Hancin, I have a question for you. You went almost a real gutsy move into Palace of Darkness fairly early on, a pendant dungeon. How are you feeling about that as you progress through it, and we're getting the items you were getting?
Well, I felt, yay, that's good value. I feel like I made the right play, and then I go kill Helmazor, and then a pendant drops. And I'm like, well, I'm happy to have come here, but that's not what I expected.
I know.
Oh,
Those pendant dungeons, man, they can be trolly sometimes.
Yeah, I was wondering if you thought that was a crystal, so apparently that was the case.
I marked it as a pendant. I just thought it was a crystal, but it was. We were there for the hammer anyway. It made sense. Had a lot of items. I've been burned by pendant pod having items anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. Turns out that was your hook shot, so that was a nice. You got that quite some time ahead of Jacobs, so worked out for you there. And the other kind of make or break moment there was after you had the fire rod and you'd completed all of the pendant or the crystal dungeons that you could. Hancin, you decided you had a choice between Skullwoods and going straight to Swamp. Was there anything that pushed you into the Swamp direction?
At that point, I felt pretty behind, just having cleared Ice Palace and finding absolutely nothing. And I'm like, Skullwood has 2 items. If it's in Skullwood, he's probably going to check it before I do. So going into Swamp, I was probably the better play.
Yeah, and at that point, JCopes you had actually cleared Skullwoods, so you had spent that time. Unless, of course, it turned out to be a pedestal seed.
Oh yeah, we
Which
had
would have
that on
been
our
an
minds
advantage.
too.
I was
Anyway,
I was really thinking it was going to end up being a pedestal seed. Too.
they're all that. So, Jacob's collection rate and in-game time was 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 45 seconds, as well as 174 items checked.
Yeah, that is a monstrous amount of items, like location checks. So
Like-
congratulations on a sub 2 hour seed with that many. It was rough.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was very rough. The thing was, the seed was very, very generous at giving out items in the near beginning, and then it became almost a troll seed at the end with those 2 medallions. What do you guys think about that?
I never like medallions as a goal mode item because they could be anywhere except in the dungeon that they lock.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it is kind of frustrating to try and find them, but at least you know you won't because it locks Turtle Rock and Misery Mire. It's not the worst dungeons to be locked.
Yeah, because they're well, with Turtle Rock being locked, there's a whole bunch of checks out of the way that you don't have to make, so that was probably advantageous. So with that, JCopes, congratulations, you've moved to that 5-2 position, coveted 5-2 location, which will put you ahead into the bracket stage of the tournament. Just your thoughts on that. How are you feeling about the tournament overall and moving forward from now?
Well, if I wasn't nervous before this race, I am now.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh, but no, I'm excited to make it there. I think I performed
I've-
overall pretty well.
I think it would be interesting to watch. These 4-2 races so far in the final week for the Swiss are very, very interesting to watch. And this race was no different. I've enjoyed watching this race, especially. It was suspense for when those last 2 medallions were going to come up. And even after we found those 2 medallions, you guys were very, very close to each other, like mere seconds apart.
Yeah, it was great. And so I have to ask, because chat has been mentioning it, Jay, they wanted to know why you had no hovers.
Why I had no hovers?
Yeah, they asked like 3 or 4 times. It was just one guy in chat, but he was making a lot of noise about it. So
Maybe ask me that next year once I learn how.
all right, and so congratulations for you, Jay. Great. Good luck for you going forward into the next stage of the tournament. And for you, Hancin, going to 4-3, there is, of course, the opportunity for the tiebreakers to fall in your favor. But just your general thoughts on the tournament so far at this point.
It's absolutely been a blast. I went into the tournament thinking, well, I'm going to get 2 wins. This is going to be the goal. And not only did I get 4 wins and a positive record, I also came very close in most of my races. I'm like, yeah, I just need to practice, try in the fall, do some more of this. Really, it's been fun.
Absolutely. So thanks a lot, both of you guys. Just as we are about to wrap things up, thanks to both JCopes and congratulations to him, as well as Hancin, for putting on such a fantastic show for us, all of the viewers here in the channel. It would be awfully nice of you if you were to throw these guys a follow for putting on such great work. Any final thoughts that you'd like to bring up, Murphy, before we head off?
Well, I'm excited to see what this last week offers for us.
This last week is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. So,
Yeah, regardless of what situation we're dealing with, even some of the lower rank ones that are not 4-2 might be interesting.
Yeah, there's plenty of randomizer for people to watch. So if you're interested right now, we have some upcoming matches taking place in just a few hours time. In 1 hour on Speed Gaming 3, you'll see P-Train and Boo Boo MC. As well, later on tonight at 11:15 p.m., Couch 23 versus Spleeby will be on Speed Gaming, the original channel. And then a plethora of matches taking place tomorrow and through the rest of the week. We hope that all of you continue to watch. On behalf of myself, Crowzone80 and Fee0749, thanks for watching us. I'd like to throw out some mad respect for Dusame who was keeping all those little lights, the bottom tracker lit for you today. So thank you very much for your help. And as well, Iceman F1 for doing the restream, keeping everything running smoothly. Thanks for both of you guys. And
Oh yeah.
we'll see you in the next race.
See you next time, folks.